I'm Brad Lamack. We're in Los Angeles talking about inside the business of acting. With us, award-winning actor Hal Linden. And it's just so wonderful to have you here. We talk about, of course, on this series of programs, career journeys, lessons learned along the way for actors who want to be in the business, actors who are in the business, and for fans who are just interested in how all of this comes together. Thank you very much for joining us here again for segment 2. So we have something in common.
Tell me.
Cape Cod Melody Tent, Hyannis, Massachusetts.
Lord.
I'm from Boston.
Cape Cod Melody Tent. That was my debut.
I know it was.
That's the first step I ever put on the stage.
1955.
55. Yeah.
I used to
Wow.
see everything in Hyannis at the Cape Cod Melody Tent.
That was, you're talking about training.
Yeah.
We did, my very first job, we did 10 musicals in 12 weeks. 10
Really?
complete musicals in 12 weeks.
How?
How? You rehearsed all day and you did a show at night.
Mm.
And they got it on. 1 week. Well, I'm sure they hired people who did the leads to do, who knew their parts and everything like that. It was only us chorus kids who were, pushed around to create the rest of the show. But imagine learning 10 shows in 12 weeks.
You remember what any of them were?
Oh, the best. The best.
Yeah.
Guys and Dolls, South Pacific.
Oh, all the
Andy
greats.
Gets Your Gun. Oh, Wish You Were Here. Carousel.
Yeah.
I mean, the best.
The shows that define Broadway
Yes.
musicals. Yeah.
In one summer.
Yeah.
And that was my first step on a Broadway, on any kind of stage.
Do you recall a sense of having achieved or gone through a turning point in your career at that point by getting that job?
First of all, we got to get there.
Yes.
Because there was an immense turning point before I ever got there. I went to the High School of Music and Art as a musician. I was a clarinet player.
New York.
Legitimate clarinet player. My contemporaries, who played just as well as I did, peopled all the symphonies around the country. I ended up playing a little saxophone later and then singing with bands. I sang with, well, I'll name bands you never heard of. Bobby Sherwood, Ray McKinley. It wasn't Count Basie, but they were big bands. And I was a saxophone player and singer with them. And I went to the High School of Music and Art, Queens College and City College, all of whom had excellent theater departments. Never set foot in one of them.
Never?
Never.
Why?
Had no interest in it. I was a saxophone player.
Right.
I didn't even go to the theater. I lived in New York. I didn't even go to the theater.
Oh, Hal.
Nothing. Zero. In those days, they had the draft. This was Korean War. I was drafted after college and got into a band. I played marches and played the service club on the weekends and the officers club, and I sang with the bands. I was very adept at that by then. So we had a piano player who used to get borrowed by special services every so often to do shows. And, he played for me at night when I sang, and, So he said to me one day, he said, listen, I'm going to do another show, and they've been borrowing me. Maybe you want to sing a song? I'll have them borrow you too. I said, sure, why not? Sounds like fun. Now I'm telling you, if he had not suggested it to me, I never would have suggested it to him.
Really?
I was going to go back to the music business. I was very good. I knew I could make a living at it. Didn't occur to me. He took me along. I went on the show. They gave me a number to sing, and we did first time in my life I ever stood on the stage without a saxophone hanging around my neck singing.
Scared?
No.
Comfortable?
As a matter of fact, they gave me a sketch, and they said, we need you to play the father, I looked at it, and I walked down on the stage and said my first line and got a laugh.
Wow.
That's pretty heady.
Felt good.
And I said, ooh, this feels nice. Now, what if that guy had never asked me to do it?
Where would you be?
Playing the saxophone somewhere, I guess. I don't know.
So, really
there was
significant
quite a few
turning point. Significant turning point.
I went, used my GI Bill, went to the American Theater Wing and peeked over somebody's shoulder and found that there was, I didn't even know enough to buy Showbiz. I looked over somebody's shoulder, there were the summer stock auditions coming up, and I wrote it down. I went up, sang, got a job. That was Cape Cod Melody.
Wow.
And that's
so there has to be a role at some, I mean, if you believe in fate at any level.
my whole career is dotted with incredible luck. Incredible luck. A lot of disappointments, but a lot of incredible luck.
How do you balance, when I teach my kids, we talk a lot about, I call it emotional fitness, which really speaks to exactly what you just said. It speaks to embracing the fortunes of fate, the luck, and opportunity, but also not, how do you handle the times when that doesn't happen, the disappointments? I mean, how have you managed to do that?
First of all, you have to have some degree of confidence in what you do. And that doesn't always come right away. To me, it took a long time. I was very adept at music. I was very adept at singing, but I was a little unsure of myself when it came to reading lines and being somebody else.
The acting stuff.
The acting stuff. That took a while. I remember waking up in the middle of the night and say, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. And from there on in, I was ready to go out. You need luck, fortuitousness, but you better be prepared. I was well prepared for those times when I got lucky. Mm-hmm. I think that's the important thing. That's the only message I can give to anybody.
Yeah. It sounds as though the balance was there, not just professionally, but there was the right balance between your personal life and the pursuit of the career.
I guess. I
mean, you're married now, right? 50 years to the same person, so that's great.
50 years.
50 years. I mean, that's...
Who was a dancer at the Cape Cod Melody.
I read that.
Yes.
Something else I wasn't invited
Excuse
to.
me, singer. She was a singer. She was a dancer who had gotten a job as a singer to work on her singing.
I mean, how often do you hear? What better example of balance for a successful working actor than to have a successful personal life? I mean, obviously, everybody's life is peppered with all kinds of colors, right?
A lot of pepper.
Right. But salt, too.
Salt, too.
So, like everything, there are the ups and downs, and there are the lessons learned, and if hopefully we're better along the journey from these things.
I think that's all it amounts to, is to treat everyone as a learning experience and move on, and next time you know better, and watch. And watch.
You always have to be a student in a way, don't you?
Always a student, particularly when you're working with imaginative people. And I was in Bells Are Ringing, and they were putting a new number in. I was the understudy who had acceded to the role. I think I had my first agent, and Bobby Fosse came with Judy Holliday to work on this new number, and I didn't open my mouth. I just watched and listened, see how they approached it. Interesting part about it was, I think I had good teachers too, because they all approached it the same way, which was not the musical part of it, but what did the number mean in the show? What were the characters?